Are you wondering what it's like to walk over 8 miles in an urban city like Chicago? In this video, you will see just that, as well as some interesting places I discovered and some things that happened that might surprise you. So join me in this video as I walk from a distant suburb miles away into downtown and discover many hidden gems along the way. But first thing is first, I had to get some food to energy up for this long journey ahead. And being that Chicago is such a diverse city, it offers many different food options. And then it was time to start the walk about 8 miles northwest of downtown along the iconic Lincoln Avenue. We will also witness heavy air traffic as Chicago O'Hare Airport is one of the biggest and busiest in the world. Oh, and by the way, just like many of the other old cities in the US, Chicago is filled with many beautiful parks and plazas, as you will see. This is one of the things I live for, guys, is discovering city at the most raw way, the most basic ground level way, and that is to walk it, to see things in a way that you could never see, or you'll probably just not notice as you drive past things in a car. Like when you're walking, you notice more of the details of these apartment complexes or businesses. Looks like to be a public garden that I didn't notice when I was driving up here, but I'm noticing it now. And with the diversity I was talking about, you see businesses with a lot of names from different nationalities, and I love that. I absolutely love that. And of course, just like New York, Chicago has a huge Italian presence. So I'm going to make it my goal to hopefully have a Chicago-style deep dish pizza. Let's see if I can find a place that will give that. There you go, more airplanes lining up to land in the O'Hare Airport. One thing, and it doesn't surprise me simply because it did seem to affect a lot of the big cities like LA, New York. And I saw this here too in Chicago during the pandemic. A lot of businesses shut down, a lot of the big cities that were more restrictive, and I think Chicago was one of those as well. Because as I was driving up here, even though the area looked like it had a lot of affluent businesses, but I did notice a lot of vacancies, and you will see that as we get closer in. But in some parts it does look like it is making a recovery, even if it's slow. Just like here, you'll see they're either remodeling, reconstructing. I can see new beams inside, so progress is good, although in some cities it's been slow because of restrictive rules. But for all it's worth, just driving through the city, kind of doing a preliminary look through the city, driving through downtown, I have to say downtown Chicago is by far one of the most beautiful downtowns in all of the US. It's definitely one of those downtowns you'll never forget. It's pretty much the only city that can compete directly with New York, although I'm sure New York probably has more overall, but there's a lot here, and you guys will see that as we get into downtown. Again, continuing with the diversity, even a Romanian food and folk festival. Salvadorian cuisine. Driving this road in the daytime. When I came up through here at nighttime, there wasn't much traffic, but still a lot of lights. Anyway, the first 2 miles actually are fairly uneventful, but then we're going to go deeper into the city. You're going to see more density in businesses as we get closer into the much older part of the town, which to me is more interesting because you see a lot of density of businesses. Would you look at that? We even have Balkan cuisine here. That's very unique. had to get my matcha along the way. It was the first opportunity where I saw. I like how there's also many different types of Latin cultures here. That's actually really cool. And from here you can start to see the silhouette of some of the buildings in downtown. That guys, even Kyrgyz cuisine. Love the diversity here. In these old cities, you always have these little clusters or town centers. They're starting to build a lot of that now in the new neighborhoods. And I love this type of planning because it allows people to live close to businesses and they're not required all the time to drive out. When you live in a suburb, unfortunately, just to do basic things like grocery shopping, you all have to get into your car and drive even a few miles, which to me, in my opinion, that is very inefficient. And also one of the reasons why there's so much unneeded traffic.
Join me on part 2 of this episode as we continue walking, entering into the beautiful and historic Lincoln Square. And of course, the scenery gets even more interesting as we walk miles deeper and deeper into the core of Chicago.